Good afternoon, everybody. This is Betsy Wurzel, host of Chatting with Betsy on Passion World Talk Radio. It is Monday, April 13th, and I am going to talk about today with my guest, picking up the pieces after caregiving. I had told my experience. Every experience is different. And I want to welcome Jeanne Adams because she's going to tell about her experience about picking up the pieces after caregiving. Hi, Jeanne.
Hi, Betsy.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Thanks for coming on. And, Jeanne, how was it for you in regards to picking up the pieces after caregiving? What did you find that you had to do?
Oh, boy. First of all, my mom was my last one that I took care of. And so when she passed, before she passed, actually, she had sold her home, and so we put all of her belongings in storage. And so when she passed, I went, okay. And so then we had to get everything out of her storage because we couldn't afford the bill. It was almost $200 a month. And so we had to clean out her storage. And so my parents were married for 63 years before my dad passed. So I had to go through 63 years of belongings, which was crazy overwhelming. So right after she passed, of course, you want to just kind of chill because you're just exhausted. Well, I didn't get to do that. So I had to go through boxes and boxes of just everything, little knickknacks, pictures. I got a million pictures. And my mom, because of her dementia, Alzheimer's, she, how they hide things. And so there was boxes of mail that I realized my mom was sick for a long time before, she got diagnosed. And so there was boxes of mail that I had to go through every one because she would hide money and things and everywhere. And so I had to go through that. And there was mail from the late 1990s, boxes. And I had to go through every one of those, plus all of her little knickknacks, just the household stuff. We donated a lot, but it wasn't like a restful time, like, okay, now I can take a break. So I didn't even think about having to go through all that stuff. Now, in hindsight, I should have been, going through it a little bit at a time, to lighten my load at the end. But that was a huge task to have to deal with. Also, after caregiving, when Mom passed, hello?
Hi.
When Mom passed away, I'm sorry. When my mom passed away, my husband and I had been caregiving for 8 years, my dad and my father-in-law and my mom. And so I remember that day after she passed, my husband had to run into town, and he goes, "You want to ride with?" And I went, "Oh, sure." Well, we hadn't got to have that freedom in 8 years. And so we got in the car and started down the road, and I was just going, this is so weird. We weren't even talking in the car. It's like that was something we never got to do. And then going through this past year since Mom passed away, my husband and I both did it. So there's a lot of adjustments emotionally and in a marriage to have to get back to being a married couple without all this added, caregiving. So, like with my mom, when she would, get sundowning and have her difficult times, I would just stuff the frustration because you can't get, frustration isn't going to make it any better. It's just going to make it worse. So that's how I would do it during the frustrating times. But after they're gone, you have to get that frustration out. So my husband and I have really had adjustments throughout this last year, and so we communicate really well, which I'm really thankful because we were able to, discuss things and talk through and communicate about it. So like the frustrations, and for me, when I would get frustrated, he would say, that's from us having to take care of them, so it's coming out now. And so there's been a lot of adjustments because you actually, when you caregive, you sacrifice your life. That's what you give up because you're helping them live theirs. And so, so getting back to being a married couple has really been an adjustment. It's good, but there was a lot of unforeseen emotions, frustrations and emotions that come back out.
Yeah.
So
very true.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of adjusting this last year. We've done really well with it, but there's been some rough spots, when it just comes up and surprises you like that, in your relationship, it really affects it. So there's been a lot of work to be done, but it's gone really well. Just a lot of surprises, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good, Jeanne, because I think a lot of couples don't make it through this. And if they make it through, some couples are okay, and some realize, we have a problem here. And I suggest if couples are having difficulty afterwards, go for marriage counseling. Go for individual counseling. Go for both if you can. Excuse me. It might be beneficial. Could be beneficial. It's very difficult when you realize some people, realize, wow, there's like a tornado went through and we have to pick up the pieces now. Did you find with your own experience, Jeanne, that you have to discover who you are now?
Yeah, that's a huge adjustment too, because it's, having to take charge of other people's lives for that long, medically, physically, emotionally, all of that, you lose yourself. You do. Everybody gets consumed by it. And so you have to rediscover yourself. I think that what you just mentioned, the counseling, because you sacrifice your marriage. Your whole life gets sacrificed. So, we've gotten back to our marriage. We've done really well, but I can see where it just could destroy a marriage relationship, any relationship. It can just destroy it. There's been a lot to get back to. I have discovered I'm different now. Things are so different, and after having to take control over other people's lives in order to help them and protect them, it's brought that part of me out stronger than I ever was before. Of like, okay, I can make this decision to, okay, I've got to do it this way. Here, I can help you with this. It needs to go this way. So I think I'm more. I think it made me more confident in standing up and making my decisions, to trust yourself to make the right decision. I think it made me stronger in that area, which is good for me because I can, I can second guess myself, I guess. I'm one of those people that I go, okay, well, did I do that right? So it strengthened me there. It also, I think, made me better at, don't sweat the small stuff, like letting things go. I think it made me stronger in that area. I don't know if I have more patience now. I think this last year, has shown my husband and me both that, that we just, we didn't have the patience to begin with, but it showed us both that we could just have more patience. I don't even know how to say it really, but there's you can always find more patience, I guess, if you look hard enough and deep down inside. You can find it when it's needed. So I think I learned to just, through caregiving, I just have learned to be more patient, more accepting. So that I think that's been a big help too.
Yes, that's. I agree, Jeanne. I found that I became more patient. I found my strengths, and we always, I think, especially as women, maybe men do too, second guess ourselves, and we could drive ourselves crazy with that.
Yeah.
And we find I do it now still, and I have to stop. I have to catch myself and stop. But would you agree with me, Jeanne, that this experience can either make you a better person or not? It's really a mindset. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think I know that going through this, like my kids are adults, they're men now, and they've commented on things that, like, more patience. They've noticed things too. They've noticed a big change, but they saw it firsthand too, with us taking care of Mom and Bud and Dad, and all the stuff that we went through. And so, yeah, they see it too. It does make you a better person. Like, I am so much more understanding and have more insight with elderly people, and I love elderly people. I just love them. It's just in my heart, and so it did make me better, because I do see a lot more, in the elderly, and I'm able to identify it, and I'm able to relate to them better. So it made me better in that area for sure.
That's true. I find, that I had more patience. I mean, everyone is different. Everyone's caregiving experience is different, and everyone's after caregiving experience is different, because it depends on the relationship you had with that person. Did you have to give up working to take care of your family? You're not looking to work now, are you?
Oh, no. We weren't working. My husband and I, neither one worked when we were caregiving. I just can't understand how people, a lot of people work and caregive at the same time. I just don't understand how they do it. It's so much. Yeah. So now, we're not working now, and I don't even have any desire to go back to work,
Mm-hmm.
We can get by just fine on our income. I mean, we're not rich, but we can live comfortable and just enjoy the time together now, which we didn't get to do for 8 years. You kind of just, your marriage just kind of exists. And so afterwards, you're able to, hopefully, Daryl and I are really blessed to have a really good marriage and a good relationship. And so we're able to just enjoy and build on that now, where we weren't really able to do much of that at all for 8 years. So we're very blessed that we made it through with our marriage and intact, and, just doing good. So. Yes,
you are. You have to give your husband a big hug for me. He sounds like a sweetheart. You tell him Betsy Wurzel from New Jersey gives him hugs.
Absolutely.
when I asked you this, Jen, I had a thought in my head, and it just went out. Do you find that when you were caregiving, did you do self-care to help you stay healthy so you could now enjoy caregiving? Not caregiving, life after caregiving? Were you able to do that?
There was very little self-help or self-time, me time. We had taken care of my dad for 5 years, and then there was my mom and my father-in-law, and so we had never had a break until about a year into caregiving for my mom and my father-in-law. We had a 2-day break, our first break, and we just took off on our bike and went and got a room up north and just kind of enjoyed the weekend. But we didn't get a lot of time. We didn't get a lot of breaks, and so that my self-help time, my me time, was after everybody went to bed at night. Right? We didn't have the luxury of somebody to give us a break. So that was our self-care time, which wasn't very much. We had I think we had 4 breaks in the last 2 years of our caregiving days. So we didn't have a lot of breaks. And if you have respite care or somebody that will come in and sit for you, absolutely use that and ask people if they would be willing to do that, because that would be my only self-care time. So I think that's a very healthy, wise thing to do. And if you can do something for yourself, like, gosh, go have your hair done, your nails, whatever, or if you have a hobby, if you can go, like, gosh, if you could steal an hour a couple times a week or more, to do a hobby or whatever you enjoy doing, just to get away from the caregiving. I think that's a wise thing to do, because you're so isolated during caregiving that it's just all on you. You're bearing the whole load, so you usually don't have the break time. But I would stay up later after everybody went to bed just to have me time, and that was the way I did it.
How did you keep yourself healthy during that time to be able to enjoy your life now? I don't know. I enjoy cooking, so we don't go out a lot to eat. So, and then my father-in-law was a diabetic, so we all did a diabetic diet. So I think that helped me. Now I'm after the caregiving, now I'm able to focus more on healthy foods for Daryl and I, and we're blessed to have pretty good health. So, I learned a lot about the diabetic diet and stuff, and I just think that was a blessing to us. That was a hidden blessing to me and Daryl. So that's the healthy thing I can think of, for ourselves as our diet. Now we're able to get out and do more work outside, which is always a good thing. So we have about 2 acres of wooded property and a creek that runs through it. And so there's a lot of work to be done, but that's good and healthy. I love to get outside and do yard work. So that's always a good thing. So I think that's probably how, health-wise, I think that's probably was the hidden blessing for us, was the diabetic diet. Good to know. I encourage people, as you know, Jan, that, if any time people can do self-care, and I know it's very difficult to do it, because as someone who went through a caregiving experience a couple of times, but it's different with each relationship. It was different with my mother-in-law than with my husband, of course, is that you have to concentrate on your own mental health, physical health, spiritual, emotional, take care of yourself so you can enjoy life after caregiving. And I know it's hard for a lot of caregivers to picture life after caregiving, and a lot of caregivers feel guilty about enjoying life after caregiving, and there's no need to.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you're enjoying your life with your husband after caregiving, and I think that's fantastic. And, so many times caregivers, they put their health on the back burner, and then their loved one passes, and you think you could enjoy life after caregiving, and boom, something happens.
Yes.
To either themselves or their spouse if they have one, or their partner. Excuse me. So that they're not able to enjoy life after caregiving. And some people feel that they don't have a right to enjoy life after caregiving because of the sadness or because their loved one, passed on. Would you encourage people to, like they have a right to enjoy life, that it's okay to enjoy life after caregiving? You earned it.
Absolutely, I would encourage that. I don't believe we feel guilty at all. I don't. I live in a guilt-free zone on the caregiving thing. I think that I don't regret what we did, but it took a lot out of us. And so, yes, I agree. I think we've earned it. And I think whatever you can, whatever joy you can grab onto for afterwards to enjoy your life and just enjoy less stress, because that's the killer. Everything you can do to enjoy, yes, I think absolutely. And you do deserve to enjoy life after it. Don't feel any guilt. I just hate it. Guilt just really attaches itself to us, and we deserve it. Everybody deserves it. So afterwards, you're dealing with the grief of the loss of a loved one, and dealing with the whole caregiving grief and depression and all that. And I think that's human. But I think afterwards, absolutely, you deserve it. You deserve to be happy and enjoy your life, whatever you choose. So, yes, I think you've earned it.
Absolutely, Jan. I agree 100%. And I'm in a lot of caregiver groups, plus I have my own. And I see this over and over again. I even saw it before Matt passed, that a loved one will feel guilty about doing self-care, about enjoying life after caregiving. And I want to tell all caregivers, whatever your stage is in your journey now, do the self-care. Maintain a healthy weight. Seek counseling if you have to. You have every right to enjoy life after caregiving. People are afraid to be judged because they enjoy life after caregiving, especially if they lost a spouse. Then people are like, oh, you're not mourning? What? How can you do that? You just lost your husband or your wife. Well, you know what, folks? You don't know what that person's been through. They've been through mourning, lost skills for who knows how many years. And, in a sense, it's a relief when your loved one passes, even though it's sad. It's a relief. They're not suffering anymore. And you're not watching that as a caregiver. So I want to tell people, don't judge what other people do after life after caregiving, because you didn't walk in their shoes.
Absolutely. If you haven't been there, you don't know. You don't even have a clue. There's so much stress and there's so much grieving throughout the whole caregiving. You've been caregiving and you've been grieving the whole time anyway. And people don't understand that if they haven't done it, because it's a daily loss. You grieve daily. You're watching somebody's brain slowly die before you every day for years, for years. And so really, you're right. It is a relief after your loved one dies, whether it's your spouse or your parent or whoever it is. It is a relief, and that's, a lot of people don't understand that, and we're not going, yay, they're gone, but it is a relief because you're relieved of so much stress and depression and everything that goes with it.
Yes, absolutely. Excuse me. Yes, I agree 100%. Definitely. You are still grieving, even though you feel relieved. And it's, caregivers, the only way I could explain it to the public, Jeanne, is caregivers, it doesn't matter whether your loved one has dementia or not, whoever you care for, whatever your situation is, caregivers ride a roller coaster of emotions during caregiving and after caregiving. And it is, difficult at times to pick up the pieces, to discover, who am I now? What are my interests? What am I going to do with my life now? Some people have to go back to work, and they haven't been at work, and so they need to brush up on their skills and do a resume. And there's just all these different cycle of emotions. And I want to tell people out there, this is all normal, whatever normal is supposed to be. I don't even know anymore. To me, normal is just setting on a dryer or a washing machine. And, if any post-caregiver, if you're having trouble dealing with your grieving or enjoying life after caregiving, please seek counseling. Call your senior center. I know they're closed now, but there are people there working. I don't know what it's called with every state in America, but here in New Jersey, it's called senior centers. Call them up. Tell them your situation. Tell them you would like to have counseling. And, Jan, I want to thank you so much for sharing your afterlife caregiving experience. Sounds like you're doing well, you and Daryl. And do you have any pearls of wisdom?
My words of wisdom would be, after caregiving, give yourself time to adjust, because there's a lot of adjustments to be made in life and emotionally and physically, all of that. Give yourself time. Be patient with your adjustment period, because you've already been through so much. You've already had to do so much, and you've given yourself away for a time. And so give yourself time to adjust to your new normal, because you never can imagine. It's always a shock. There's always something will surprise you. Wow, I never thought of that, having to deal with that. Like mine was frustration. Ours was frustration that we had stuff. So, yeah, enjoy your new life. Try and give yourself time and try and enjoy your new normal. Go out and do the things that you possibly put off, whether that's a hobby or you want to go back to school or, whatever your situation may be. That would be my words of wisdom.
That is great words of wisdom, and I agree 100%, totally. Thank you, Jeanne, for being my guest again. You're welcome back anytime. I appreciate you coming on. And people could get in touch with you through your Facebook page?
Absolutely. Yeah, Jeanne Smith Adams.
Okay. That is great. Thank you so much, Jeanne, for sharing your experience after caregiving. And listeners, if any of you want to share your experience and picking up the pieces of your life after caregiving, please PM me. You can get in touch with me through the station or my own Facebook page, Betsy Wurzel, Wurzel. You are welcome to join my hashtag Kick Alzheimer's Ass movement page if you want to help other caregivers, if you want to be inspired, or if you have dementia or someone in your family who has any kind of dementia, you're welcome to join. And thank you, Jeanne White, for producing, writing the blog. Please read the blogs and share the blogs. There's a lot of information on there. Please share this audio cast with your friends and family, because hearing another caregiver's experience can help someone. It does help someone. And I wish somebody was speaking on the airways about all this 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. But I want to encourage all you listeners, speak up, tell your story. It doesn't matter if it was 30 years ago, because to withhold information is being selfish. I know that's kind of harsh, but you have information that can help others. Please share it. Please help someone else, because when you help someone else, you're helping yourself, and you're going to feel better. I will never stop speaking about what caregivers went through, what I went through, what caregivers go through. I will not stop raising awareness on this monster, Alzheimer's. As long as I have a living breath in me, I will not stop. I promised my husband that I was going to carry on in his honor. And it's because of my husband, Matthew Sloan, that I'm doing what I'm doing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been doing it otherwise. But I want to thank everyone for listening. This is Betsy Wurzel, host of Chatting with Betsy and Pastor World Talk Radio. Till you hear from me again, have a blessed time. Wherever you are, keep safe and be well. Bye-bye now.